All right, and we're live. Good morning, Black Equity Con. What's up, what's up, what's up? All right, so super excited about this conversation today. Thank you again, everybody, for moving up. My name is Danielle Jeter, and I am super excited to have a conversation about Black, about wealth, about equity, and about community. So here in this particular session, we are going to prepare you for Web 3.0. We're going to be talking about cryptocurrency, metaverse, virtual reality, NFTs, blockchain, all of it, right? So we're going to start our session. We're going to also do a Q&A. So if you do have questions, please hold them. We're going to have those questions answered. No question is off limits and no question is a dumb question, right? So we're here to learn about this new technology and this amazing opportunity for us. I am the founder and CEO of AOI Events and PR and also Women in Media Global. And my entire mission is to tell your stories in the form of me being a publicist or even being a journalist. I help you share your stories and us really combating those negative stereotypes about women and Black people. So with us having this conversation, I think it's timely, right? We're going to learn new stuff, but I'm glad that we are going to see two amazing experts in this space because there's not enough representation of us in this space as I continue to do my research. So let's get the energy high. I want y'all to give it up for yourselves, for being here. I want to hear some noise. That's right, that's right. And let's also give roses where they are due. BYOB, Black Equity Con, David Shands did an amazing job with this conference. Do you agree? Yes, let's give it up. Let's give it up for David. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to bring the experts to the stage. I'm going to get out of the way, and we're going to start with ladies first. We have Tina Bonner, who is the founder of Black Meta and also a coach. She's a consultant. She's been in business and entrepreneurship, award-winning for a very long time. So we're going to talk about metaverse with Tina. So let's welcome her to the stage. What's up, what's up?
Good morning.
And y'all, we in for more. We got Dr. Hans here, the Investing Tutor, y'all. And I mean, we have a legend in the room. He is the founder of the first NFT called Royals that is representing the culture, right? Black culture, the continent of Africa, excellence and royalty, right? So we're gonna talk about how we can mint this NFT and how we continue to support our home Africa. So without further ado, please welcome up the wealth expert, the teacher, the tutor, Dr. Hans. Okay, so we're gonna jump right in, and I gave a really quick, nice intro, but nobody can tell your story the way that you can, right? So I want you all to start with giving us your journey. How did you get into the metaverse? How did you find yourself in Web 3.0 and also NFT and the whole blockchain experience? Take us on this journey.
Yeah, I'll jump in, I guess. So one is, it really just happened. Rewind the tape, I've always been an entrepreneur, right? How many entrepreneurs we got in creative business owners? Yeah. So we're visionaries, right? We always are seeing the future, we're seeing what's new, we're always on the cutting edge. And so by default, I'm always looking for things that are cutting edge. So prior to getting into the metaverse, I had a digital agency. And so what was happening was that there was all of this chatter around the metaverse. And so at this point, I'm like, well, I gotta learn it because this is just a part of who I am, is being cutting edge, right? So I went to learn it, I went on YouTube, I couldn't find much, right? But then what I did find, it was all based on like white teenage boys teaching, right, the metaverse. And that's not a problem, but for me, it was about representation. I couldn't understand it the same way, the examples, the use cases, the way that they were explaining it was not fully encompassing to my lifestyle, right? And the things that I do and things that I'm interested in. So I said, let me just go try to look other places. I went on TikTok again, there was this gap, and I'm like, man, this is interesting that there's no representation, or very little, right? Very little, I don't want to say no, but there was very little representation around this conversation with the metaverse. I was just trying to learn long story short, I said, okay, well, if it's not out there, I'm going to build it.
Wow.
That's what entrepreneurs do. And so,
Wow.
fast forward. Yeah, we can clap it up.
Wow.
So that's what entrepreneurs do, right? That's what we do. We solve problems. We fill in the gaps. And so I said, well, there's an opportunity here for Black and brown people to understand the metaverse, to understand how to be able to monetize it, because it is a new stream of wealth. It is a new stream of access. I know Dr. Hans is going to tell us all about how to get money in the metaverse and all those things. But that was my story. It was, I saw an opportunity, I filled the gap, and shout out to my team down here, Black and Red.
Shout out to the team.
And we're 3 Black women that are doing it. All of our team is Black, and we're just making this shit. So that's my story, and that's how I started.
Thank you. Perfect segue, too, to Dr. Hans with the wealth building aspect of this opportunity.
Yeah, so born and raised in Ghana, West Africa, life for me started in Bronx, New York. And when I got to New York, most of my relatives were saying, if you want to be wealthy, go to school, get a good job, work very hard, and then build a house back in Ghana. That's the typical advice that you receive. But the individuals giving their advice, they didn't have any wealth, right? And I just noticed over time that the information that I was receiving, wasn't really going to transform me. Luckily, I stumbled onto a mentor, right? So proximity to the right people, extremely important. And that individual introduced me to different books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. And it inspired me to go out and begin learning. And what I discovered, to be able to build wealth, you have to do 2 things. 1, change your mindset. And 2, acquire assets. It's that simple. So I know we're going to dive further into this, but speeding forward to specifically how I discovered crypto. In 2017, initially, I was saying crypto is a scam because how can you have an asset that grows exponentially so quickly, right? So I ignored it. And then I realized that billionaires that made a ton of money in technology, investing back in the late 90s, the Peter Thiels, the Elon Musks, Tim Cook, these individuals were plowing tons of money into crypto and the metaverse. Mark Zuckerberg even changed his entire $1 trillion company to Meta. When I saw that, I was like, unless I have $1 billion, I need to be paying attention to what these individuals are doing. And that is what inspired me to want to look more and learn more about crypto, NFTs, the metaverse, and everything.
Wow. So thank you both for sharing your journeys into this amazing opportunity. And I love that I see so many audience members with their phones out. I see y'all with y'all notebooks. Y'all got the assignment. So I know that the panel is going to continue to heat up. So please, the information, make sure y'all write this down. Go crazy on Instagram, tag us, share this information with other people, because that's exactly why we're here. It's for us, but it's also for those who couldn't be in the room. So Tina, you talked about the missing representation of us in the metaverse. So now that you're here, what are the opportunities that we need to know?
Okay, such a good question. There's so much to do in the metaverse, right? How many of you all, really quick, just by show of hands, have this idea that the metaverse is really just virtual reality and games? Okay, about half the room. And so that's typically what I thought too. I thought virtual reality, you got the Oculus headset, you're just in there playing Beat Saber and playing some games, right? That's what I thought. And it wasn't until I did my research where I understand, oh my gosh, I put this headset on and I'm actually instantly in international business.
Oh, right.
So what's happening is that, and a lot of what we're doing is helping people understand that the same things that you do in the physical world, right, you can now do in the virtual world. And so I want you to write some notes down, a couple of different platforms. One is Spatial, SPATIAL. One is Spatial, another one is Horizon Worlds, that's built by Meta, right? And so Meta is obviously formerly Facebook. You got another one, Decentraland, right? Decentraland, DECENTRELAND, Decentraland. So these are just one of a few different metaverse apps. Right? So here's what I need you to have a mindset shift. There's only one metaverse, okay? I need you to make that mindset shift. Because a lot of people think there's a bunch of different metaverse. Just like the internet, there's only one internet, but there's various platforms within the internet. YouTube, right? Social media, There's other things that you can do, e-commerce, but there's only one internet. So the same as the metaverse. There's one metaverse, but there's multiple platforms that sit in the metaverse, right? By various companies, various brands. So the thing that's the opportunity is that a lot of now it's about connectivity, not just gaming, where virtual reality was about gaming, right, a decade ago. Now, fast forward, it's about connectivity. So when you look at these platforms I'm telling you about, just think about, here's some opportunities. How many consultants do we have in the room, right? Okay, so right now you can put your headset on and consult somebody across the nation, across the world. Again, instantly international business, because people can actually connect with you in these spaces, and you don't always need a headset. Right, the spatial app, you don't need a headset. We can jump in right now and you can stumble, really just like you're in this networking and conference today, you can stumble and rub shoulders with somebody literally across the world and instantly they can become your client. This is what's happening, right? And so how many creatives do you have in here? Designers, right? So again, spatial is another thing. I always tell people this. Websites are like so 2010, right?
That is so
That's
true.
Like so 2010. Now what's happening is that you create a metaverse world, right? And so now instead of people scrolling on your website, they're in your website.
So wait, Tina, you said we individually can make a metaverse world.
Correct.
Then you come in my world.
Correct.
But do you just kind of like walk around and then you just stumble into me?
So I want you to think of it like this. So we're in this room right now. There's a keyword I want you to write down called digital twin. Digital twin. So what happens is that you create a replica of, it could be an office space, it could be this stage. We could be doing this exact thing with a digital replica of this room inside of the metaverse. And now when we go back home, we can do this same conference all over again in the headset, right? All over again, every single day, in perpetuity. And so that's the idea here, is that you can create any space that you can think of. And if different platforms, some of them do cost money for land, but some don't. Like Spatial, you don't have to buy land. You can get in there today. I'm going to challenge you. Here's my challenge to you. Go to spatial.io, go today, create a metaverse world, and just have it set up as your virtual office. And test it out. Like, meet your client and say, instead of sending them a link to that, or excuse me, a link to your website, send them a link to your world. And just see how excited they are, because now they can feel the energy. You've got painting on the wall. You've got your services that are explained in a way that they can walk around and navigate. They can feel the energy of your business. How much more would that actually improve and increase your conversion when they're actually in your website? So I'm going to pause.
I mean, Tina, I'm looking at my notes like, what else do I have to ask her? Phenomenal.
It's endless. It's endless. And if you do want to learn more, we have a booth upstairs on the 3rd floor. So again, it's endless.
Thank you for even giving us, we got action steps, we got things we need to do, right? We're going to be sending our links out to our clients, getting that new money, all right. But we need the headset, right?
So you don't need a headset, right? I'm really glad you asked that, because not all metaverse apps are created equal. Write that down. Not all metaverse apps are created equal. Some require a headset, some don't. And that's all just about accessibility. And so the last keyword I'll share with you is levels of immersion. Levels of immersion. And so immersion just is, you're either fully immersed, and it's your eyes, your ears, your senses, that's fully immersed, right? But then there's like halfway immersed. And that would be something considered like if you have some glasses on, but they're not fully over your head. And then there's lightly immersed, which is just on your phone. So it's not about, the metaverse is not necessarily about having to be in a virtual reality headset, right? It's about connectivity across platforms in perpetuity. That's what it's about, right? So the levels of immersion are determined by the app creator. So that's it.
I love having this expert on the stage. All right, we're going to talk NFTs, Dr. Hans. Okay, so I know that you are really great at selecting NFT projects that really just blow up. So how do you determine and have an eye for, this one is going to be great versus, maybe not so much this one?
Absolutely. When individuals hear NFTs for the first time, they're wondering, like, what is this thing, right? Because it's like non-fungible token, right? So before I dive into how to identify NFT projects, just want to quickly explain what an NFT is. I want you to think of an NFT as a technology for verifying who owns an asset, right? So the NFT is showing you who the owner of an asset is. The second very important definition of an NFT is it is a technology that allows you to monetize or put a price on anything. These two things are very, very powerful. Prior, you couldn't sell digital art or digital items for millions of dollars. Because of the NFT technology, now you can. So it's incredibly powerful, it's here to stay, and I don't want people in our community to miss out on this, right? So now that you know what an NFT is and the power of the technology, how do you identify great NFT projects? I'm going to take you to the basics of economics: supply and demand. And this works across the board with everything: stocks, crypto, NFTs, business, it doesn't matter. We're going back to the basics. So supply is the quantity of something in existence. The thing about NFTs is you can keep that supply constant. So Bored Apes dropped 10,000 NFT collections. It's constant. The Royals NFT is a collection of 3,000 NFTs. That's constant. It's never going to change. So demand is what's going to determine or drive the value or the price of the NFT. So now you have to think about it. What is going to drive demand?
Right.
If you can identify different factors, and demand means a lot of people want that NFT. If you can determine the things that drive demand, then you'll be able to identify a phenomenal NFT. I'm going to share, let's say, 2 really core things that I believe you need to focus on. Well, let me make it 3. The first is this NFT doing something that is unique and first of its kind? If you find an NFT that's doing something unique and first of its kind, there's a high probability that it's going to attract demand. Second, the community around the NFT, right? Are individuals invigorated? Are they excited? Do they want to participate and be a part of that community? That's 2. And number 3 is the founder or the creators of that NFT, right? Are they individuals who are truly committed to seeing to it that the vision of that NFT comes true, right? Or are they just looking to drop something, make money, and they are not going to fulfill the promises that they are making to holders, right? So that's how you want to think through identifying and selecting NFT collections, because anyone can create an NFT the same way anyone can create a website. But can they do something that is unique, first of its kind? Can they rally around a truly committed community? And 3, are they willing to work similar to the way Black Meta? I can tell they've done their due diligence, there's a commitment, and they are looking to make a difference. Are they willing to work to see it through? Right? So if you focus on these 3 things, you find phenomenal NFT projects.
That was excellent. Thank you. So we are here at Black Equity Con, so I certainly want to get into some wealth building conversation and thoughts from our experts. So there's so much talk, right, on the gram and in our news about the possibilities of us going into a recession. So can you all break down to us like what's happening in our economy and how we can utilize this new opportunity to prepare ourselves?
So I'll say this again. I can't stress how much this is an international thing, right? So, right, when we talk about recession, we're talking about the United States specifically and the economy. We're talking about our economy. But you put this headset on again, right? Or you go into Spatial or these international apps, and right, you can now make international money despite what's happening here. And so that's what I see is that the metaverse is about access. It's about being able to connect without having to have geographical lines that keep us bounded or buried in one place, right? And so the way I see it is that, okay, we're having a recession here, but we may not be having a recession in other countries.
Okay.
Be able to connect, tap in, and actually update. So here's the homework: update my service offerings so that they can be able to transcend geographical lines. That's where I'm at.
Tina is such a great coach. Okay, action steps.
Yeah, So let me share the more technical nuance response. More than likely, we are headed towards a period of stagflation, right? And what that means is stagflation. Stag means a stagnant economy that is not growing, right? So what that means is jobs are not going to be hiring as much. Everything kind of slows down or just keeps chugging along, right? Inflation is inflation. And this morning, the inflation numbers came out. If you haven't read it, at 8:30 I got the alert, 8.6%. The largest CPI print in 40 years. What does that mean? I want you to imagine an economy where everything is slow, but the things you're buying cost a lot more, right? It's not a desirable environment to be in. The Federal Reserve is trying to reduce inflation so that prices can drop, but technically, a reduction in inflation means a recession. That's what I want you to understand. The only way they can reduce inflation is to reduce demand. Once again, supply demand. They are reducing the demand of people wanting to purchase things. Right? So if they are reducing demand, in essence, you are even slowing the economy down even further, right? But to Tina's point, all of this doesn't matter because crypto, metaverse, it is not about one country, one place. It is a global financial system that connects, financial system and digital world that connects everyone across the globe. And it unlocks a tremendous amount of opportunities, right? If you have a business or a service and you can maybe serve 300, 500 people all over the globe, or 1,000 people all over the globe, right? Will they be willing to pay that $100, $1,000, whatever the price is, right? For you to be able to solve their problem. So I don't want you to think about this in a gloomy kind of mindset. It truly is an opportunity, right, to tap into this new evolving asset class and an opportunity to unlock, the next big thing for you.
Excellent. Of course.
I would love to even just frame how all of this is connected, right? And even as we were talking about the idea of Web3, right? What is that? And then we're talking about crypto and NFTs and the metaverse, like it's all connected. And so when we think of Web3, we got to understand Web2, which is the previous iteration, which is what we're currently majority in. That's like reading the internet, writing on the internet, creating on the internet, monetizing, right? And then Web3 is this new version where we're actually, all of these things are connected. So think of it like this. When you have the metaverse, it's like, the metaverse is like the place in which we do life, right? That's the place in which we're engaging and replicating the things that we're doing in the physical world, in the virtual world, right? But then you have the actual currency, which is cryptocurrency. That's the way we will transact. That's the monetary piece that we'll use in the metaverse, right? And then we have NFTs, which are the assets also in the metaverse. And so collectively, they create Web3. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so that's just want to frame that, because if we keep them isolated, we'll think, oh, that's that, that's this, and that's this. But seeing it as a whole picture, we can see how all of this information that Dr. Hans is sharing and what we're sharing, all of it makes sense. And the more that you can understand the fundamentals and see it all connected, the more that you can really have success. So I just, again, want to echo the fact that, like, please, the international piece is so big. I know we got a lot of business owners, a lot of creatives, a lot of consultants. Like, if you have not taken the time to understand how to make your business an international business, and just in terms of the services that you're offering, that's tonight. That's like when you get back to your hotel tonight, like simulate that with yourself. If somebody across the world in, I don't know, Europe wanted to purchase my services, how would I deliver them? How would I deploy them? Put that into your mind so that you can start to practice. So when it happens, you're not caught off guard, right? Because a lot of us don't do that. We just think in the United States, and we just think of like mom and cousin and Boo Boo and Ray and everybody else, right? But we gotta come up a little higher. We gotta come up higher. So I'm from call and response generation, so I need you to look at your neighbor and say, come up a little higher.
Come up a little higher. Come up a little higher. Man, I mean, Both of you, Dr. Hines, Tina, even myself, I'm sitting here thinking and I'm taking in the information that you're giving, and it really is broadening my perspective on business, on the opportunities that are available. So, from all of us, thank you for taking us and giving us some hope, because we look at what's happening in our society here locally, right, wherever we're from, and it just feels gloomy at times, and they talk about a recession, but y'all like, nah, we're good. We're about to go to Meta. We're getting some NFTs, so thank you. Just thank you. Let's just give it up real quick. I could really just keep doing this. I'm going to call David and see if maybe we can, do a part 2. But I want to make sure that we get your questions in as well. So if we do, if you have a question, so go ahead. I see you,
Well, first of all, is there a microphone? I can yell.
And y'all, this is a lightning round, so get straight to your questions so we can get as many as we can. Thank you.
Okay, so my question is, good morning, thank y'all, and all of that good stuff. Let me try to hurry up. So I'm learning about utility on NFTs, and I run, a marketing agency. So I'm interested in how do you attach services to an NFT and sell it. I know that's a little complex, but I don't understand how would you, make it to where you only have 100 of this service and people are able to trade or sell your services and things like that. Because we do destination marketing, so we will only work with destinations. So I'm wondering, how does that work?
You can do
Great question.
anything with an NFT, right? So let's say you wanted to drop an NFT collection, and 100 of these NFTs will provide this service. Now you have a token that has digital proof that these 100 can do whatever you say it's gonna do. So then it's up to you to fulfill that obligation. So don't think that it's like you need code or anything. No, it's pretty much like a website. You can create a website to do anything. You can create an app to do anything. You can create an NFT to do anything. A very quick example that I'll share is, I noticed in the NFT space, there isn't representation. We aren't represented there. So last year, September, I said, I'm going to work on an NFT collection, which I worked on for 7 months, to represent African culture and African excellence. And this NFT, which is the Royals, serves as an invitation for NFT holders to be connected to the African continent and actually visit the continent. So this December, I'm hosting a Royal Gala, the first of its kind. So think Met Gala infused with African excellence.
Yes! Is this like in the metaverse or in real life?
No, real life.
We're like, okay. We can come. Either way. Either way.
How we can bring future events to the metaverse.
We got Black and Meta, we in there.
So this December, end of December, we're doing this. So the NFT, which costs like $140, imagine, is connecting you to the African continent and literally inviting you there. You're not coming as a tourist, you're coming as a royal.
Yes.
Right? Right? So you can do anything with NFT. So I want you all to take that in. Anyone here, I'm not saying go create random NFTs, because we talked about how you need those 3 components. First of its kind, community, and a founder who's really committed, right? So you can do anything with NFTs.
One more question. Oh, this is hard. We had a woman. Let's get a male.
I'm in the script, so we're getting into ads, and so I was wondering, how can I create digital ads in the metaverse and make assets off of that? For instance, like photo of promote your gala. How can I bring ads to the metaverse to get other people in the metaverse to come to your
I think Tina will take that because it's metaverse focused.
Sure. So that's a great question. Advertising is big in the metaverse. And so what happens is that it's not traditional, right, in the sense of how it is with Web 2, where you run ads, right? A lot of it is done in the more archaic, I wouldn't say archaic, but in the more original sense of how ads work, where you would connect with an ad agency, you would figure out what the campaign would be, you would have a designer create, and then put it somewhere inside of the metaverse. So that's where it is right now. So what I would challenge you to do is, one is look at spatial, because spatial, you can see how, as long as you can create anything, so our digital artists, how many creatives in terms of digital art we have in here? Designers, graphic designers, anybody graphic designers? Okay, there's an app called Blender. So if you look at Blender, creating 3D assets and 3D objects are another big way that people are doing advertising. So it's not traditional in the sense of like, again, like a scroll on the Instagram. It's actually creating an asset that represents whatever you're trying to promote, right? The other side is an actual banner, right, that you're designing and putting it in somebody's world, right? Another big example also is creating a world in someone else's world, like a micro world. So, prime example, Absolute Vodka did that in Decentraland. Right? They created a sub-world and it was in partnership with Coachella. So Coachella and Absolute Vodka did a micro world together inside of Coachella's world, right?
That's
that
dope.
was Absolute's like promotion.
Got
so you got to think of it differently, because if we put our vision and our ideas in the container of Web 2, we'll miss it every time, right? We've got to expand and say, okay, this is not just about the traditional pictures and static and videos. This is literally creating an entire experience. And so Absolute didn't just have pictures of Absolute. They had an entire world where you could walk around, engage, start to understand even more of the value. I never knew the values of Absolute Vodka. You just turn it up, right? But like to go in and experience and see what they're about, now I'm sure they created so much more fans just because of that. So that's how you have to start to see advertising. Is beyond just like static. It's an entire experience. And if you can start to see it that way, you can start to now charge upwards of hundreds of thousands of dollars to create experiences for people, and then you just use the language of ads.
That's a 100K play. Okay.
Hopefully that helps.
Share this in like 1 minute. So I want you to look at how wealth was built over time, right? From 1950s, the assets that created and built wealth was real estate, right? And they kept us out with redlining, so we couldn't get access to mortgages and all of that. Late 90s, it was stocks, tech stocks. That's why billionaires were created.
Yep.
Zuckerberg, they all rode stocks.
Yep.
The next 2 decades, it's crypto. It's metaverse. But this time, they cannot keep us out.
Yes.
You're wondering about the NFT. It is theroyals.art. Theroyals.art. Thank you.
Is that an OpenSea?
It is. Just search Ghana. Just search Ghana on OpenSea.
Dr. Hans, Tina, do you want to give our audience some ways that they can stay in touch and continue to learn with you?
Yes, absolutely. So you can follow me at Tina Bonner Live, TINABONNER LIVE. And then Black and Meta at Black and Meta, just like it sounds. Spelled out, we're on all social platforms. Like I said, our team is here, and so we'll be upstairs on the 3rd floor. So if your question didn't get answered, please come, ask your question. We want to make sure that you can get the information. My ask to you all as well too is that this is what we do. Like Black and Meta, our vision and our mission is to bring 1 million Black and brown people to the metaverse by 2025. Right, and I share that with you because please, we need your help. So if you all are decision makers, or you know people that are decision makers that have access to communities, right, that have access to other people, as many people as we can bring as possible, please connect us. We teach at conferences, we share in schools, we actually work with DC government right now to share for all of their public schools for their summer programs. So anything that you all have, please connect us. We want to get this information out because our people cannot be left behind again. We cannot. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wait, is Royals in Ghana?
Royals is a global NFT.
I'm sorry, the gala.
Yes, the gala.
It's in Ghana.
Yeah.
Who's going to Ghana? Okay. And who's going to the metaverse with Black and Meta? All right. We're going to have to get another session, and this was excellent. Go ahead, Dr. Hans. Give your info.
Connect with me on Instagram. I'm at the Investing Tutor. The Investing Tutor. I believe I have about 42K followers. Please know that every day there are fake accounts created. So please, I will not randomly DM you to pitch you crypto.
That's how you know you made it.
Please. And I think that's the most important. For those who are new to crypto and want to learn, I have a free workshop on my website. It's theinvestingtutor.com. Like, so crypto NFTs, you'll be able to get those resources for free. But I'm really looking forward to connecting with you, Tina, because I can tell she has a heart for what she's doing. She's very knowledgeable.
Very.
And very, very excited. Black and Meta, 1000%.
Yes, we're gonna do that.
Yes. Thank you all again for coming to our panel. Dr. Hans, Tina, thank you so much for being here. If you all want to also connect with me, you can follow me on Instagram at DPJETER. That's Jeter, just like Derek Jeter. And if you want to mastermind with me, we mastermind around conversations like this 12 times a year. You can text millions to 267-732-0840. That is millions to 267-732-0840. And again, I'm Danielle Jeter. Thanks so much.
Thank you all.